Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Toya already skipped to the good part. Oh man, and Toya says, if we can be progressive traditionalists, I guess we can also be submissive providers. And that's interesting, Toya, because I wanted to start from the last video in the description box also. So shout out to Lewis, right? Lewis Conyer, Louis, right? As we call him over here. Um, so Louis sent me this, sent me Lexus Exodus part 2 of Black women dating in 2024. And I went and I checked out part 1. And so this let me know I haven't kept up with Lexus Exodus in a little bit. So I checked out the, part 1. I checked out her coverage of, and I did watch it the first time, but I forgot. But I checked out her coverage also of Rachel Lindsay, excuse me, the first Black Bachelorette. And yeah, so we're going to speak about this and speak about the propaganda that comes from these type of characters such as Lexus Exodus. Now, first, I put the last, I guess, video, think piece, whatever she wants to call it, up to show Lexus Exodus had a problem with Mr. Brian, what's his name, Abba Solo, right? So that's Rachel Lindsay's ex-husband at this point, if I'm not mistaken. I think everything went through, if I'm not mistaken. So the divorce and the fact that he's asking for spousal support, Lexus Exodus had a problem with that, right? She called him all type of dusties and whatnot. Fine. The non-Black man, one more again, got a Black woman out of the bag. Duh, right? But instead of Lexus Exodus going straight to that and making that her primary focus, she had to bring in Black men for some verbal abuse. Of course she did. Right? And she's talking about bussy and all the, all the vulgar language. And first, Lexus Exodus, Black men earn more than Black women. If you're going to speak about this, what does she call it again, Toya? Submissive providers. Black men still out earn Black women, Lexus Exodus. Number 1. Number 2, Lexus Exodus did her little braggy brag thing when speaking about Mr. Brian Abasolo. And she looked up how much your average chiropractor makes, I guess, in Florida, which is, I think she said something like $60,000 to $110,000. They were from $60,000 to $110,000, and she was like, "Oh, I make more than that." And okay, all right. The median household income is $74,000 a year, Miss Lexus Exodus. Wow. Proof, everyone, that just because you speak well and just because you make over 6 figures does not mean you're really good at the social math. Thank you, Terrell. And Terrell says he's in a soft guy era. Shout out to Edward Anderson for putting all those clips up for men speaking about being in a soft guy era. Yeah, ladies. Dear Lexus Exodus, this is what women fought for. So Lexus Exodus goes into what men really want is they want women to go out there and be kick-ass and be corporate sharks and corporate monsters and then come home and then cook the bacon. What she said, go hunt and bring it home and cook it and yawn first. Miss Lexus Exodus. That power couple thing is not a real thing like that. Sorry, unfortunately for you and all the other Black women who wish y'all were upper middle class and rich white women. That's number 1. Y'all been watching way too much TV series like Suits and whatever the hell y'all been watching. Stop. Number 2, you're delusional as hell. And this is where we bring in Black women dating in 2024. So clearly, Lexus Exodus, I don't know who she's paying, or she can do it herself. She might be able to do it herself. She has this animated series, and there's a part 1 and a part 2 of Black women dating in 2024 and their speed dating. Problem number 1, Miss Lexus Exodus, and y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Miss Lexus Exodus, Black women are complaining that black men aren't going to speed dating. Uh-oh. Problem number one, Lexus Exodus, that is that in real life, black women are complaining that black men aren't speed dating. There are tons of videos, both on YouTube and TikTok, of black women and other non-black women complaining that men, especially for black women, black men, aren't speed dating. So that's your problem number one. Number two, what was that, 2022? Was that early 2023 or 2022 in Texas when when they showed the video of all those women outside and they were listening to they R&B music and there was like no men there, no black men. Let's make sure we clarify. Black women that went to do the speed dating thing and there were no black men there. Was that in Dallas or was that in Houston? A couple years ago, right? Uh-oh. And black women were posting videos and making comments on social media about it. Miss Lexus Exodus. So even this little animated series you have with all these negative stereotypes about black men, the only problem is that black men aren't speed dating like that. Whoopsie. Oh, and only logical. What's going on? Only logical. I have something to say. I'm gonna actually probably review. And shout out to Only Logical. I'm probably going to review your video about Russell Simmons' daughter and the old white crinkly crackly fugly white dude. And I'm working on some thoughts about giggity. I'm working on some thoughts about black women who grow up in white spaces and are faced with, especially as children, are faced with anti-blackness and then what it does to them psychologically. And because you think about Candace Owens, you think about Russell Simmons' daughter, you think about Serena and Venus Williams. There's something about black girls in particular, and this might be a people of color thing, because remember the clip that Compassionate has of the Asian girl, the man on the street interview. There's something about women of color, but black girls in particular, being in these spaces where they feel ignored by the white boys, or the white boys actually call them the N-word or call them the monkey, in them attempting to prove themselves to those men to the point where they have to end up with those men, right? It's really some interesting stuff. Hey, Alexis Exodus. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm kind of working on some things. I'm letting it marinate that I might want to speak on. Yeah, because yeah. So back to Lexus Exodus. You know, the reason why I say unimaginative imagination is one, the negative stereotypes that she has on black women dating in 2024, part 1 and 2. The problem is, like I said, number one, black men aren't speed dating. That's number one. Number two, the problem with the negative stereotypes is when you have the hotep guy and when you have the chubby brother that is still harkening back to ninth grade Lexus Exodus. That's what women like you were doing. Example number one. Oh, Stefco went back to when she was what, in the 8th grade, or was she 8 years old? I can't recall. I think she said 8 years old actually. It might have been the 8th grade. I don't recall. But yeah. Oh, Stefco. Yanni went back to 16 years old, right? Um, Bowser, that's Kim Foster, went back to 16 years old and not going and not being asked out on prom by the black jocks or the black nerds, and her ending up going to prom with a white guy. And she's in her 30s or late 20s at the time when she made that video. Lexus Exodus, it's black women that are harkening back to when they were teenagers. And kids, that's black women engaging in that. Also, the clip of BGS speaking to the black woman in Northern New York, or the crew that hangs out with Herbert, and he speaking to her, and she's like, "Oh, it goes back to when I was 15 years old," and this lady's like in her 40s, late 30s, early 40s at the time. I'll give you 1 second. Yeah. So this is speaking to something, right? Like the reason why you're being unimaginative here is because one, you're trying to flip what black men are saying onto black men coming from black women. Exhibit AU, number one. Number two, it's unimaginative because all of these negative stereotypes are how black women end up in this position you're in, right? Now you may have the non-black man, and many of your subscribers might want to pine and beg and crawl and tuck themselves under the white man or non-black man, but primarily white man screwed them. But unfortunately for them, most of them are not going to end up there. Unfortunately for them, right? Huh. So you're too cowardly to just go at the white men. So you spend the majority of your 30 some odd minute think piece about Rachel Lindsay and her ex non-black husband, white husband, breaking up. You spend the majority of that actually going in on black men, but of course you're insulting black men because you're a coward. And you spend just the last about quarter of your think piece going in on him in particular as a non-black man, white presenting man, white man. Let's just say white man. Huh. And how he's non-traditional and how he's not ambitious enough. First of all, look, heterosexual men, for the most part, aren't trying to date and marry Milton Freeman, just XX chromosome. We're not trying to date Frederick Hayek, Miss Lexus Exodus. You got your whole Ayn Rand thing going on. Yeah, that's cute. Men ain't trying to deal with that. Because I know you don't care about black men. That's why I said men in general. So all this ambitious thing and well, if you want traditional, then you got to be traditional. Nice try at flipping over what black men, and the black manosphere are saying. Nice try. But once again, it's unimaginative because you're the one who doesn't have actual original talking points. You're just ripping off what black men are saying and trying to present it back in a new way. It's not working. It's not working. Right? So instead of you saying, hey, black women, these white guys are not exactly the way, they're not all peaches and cream and they're not, everything is not great over there. Instead of you just saying that, now you're saying, well, divestment, we're not just divesting to end up with these dusties, yawn. So you're not divesting from black dusties to end up with non-black dusties, white dusties. Unfortunately, that was not the message that you and your ilk were pushing for years. Right? Now it's divest and vet, right? Divest from black men and vet the non-black men. Yeah. So you're late to that, right? Because this is where crystalline kerosene comes in. Yeah, that doesn't work. Because the energy y'all put in to propagandizing black women to give black men the middle finger and divest from black men, the energy y'all put in that, y'all do not put that same energy in this quote unquote vetting non-black men. Unfortunately for you. And everybody knows you're full of crap, Lexus Exodus, because even in your own 33 minute, 35-minute long think piece, you spend the vast majority of time speaking about men, black men, right? And black women not becoming submissive providers to these men. You only spend a small chunk of your time actually speaking about Mr. Brian Abacello and Miss Rachel Lindsay's divorce. You know, the black woman divorcing from the white man. So this whole divest and vet thing is not a real thing. It's not, right? So for a woman that's earning six figures and that's not dealing with black men, from my understanding, she spoke as if I've seen some of her old stuff, and she spoke as if she's married to a non-black man. I'm not 100% sure if he's white. He might be Latino, whatever, right? Huh. And then you put out this speed dating thing, this animated part 1 and part 2. Unfortunately, though, not only are black men not speed dating, not only are these stereotypes old and tired and actually don't fit, but number one, you had the heavy set brother that's a nerd, but then he's not really a nerd, but he's not really accomplished like that, right? Then you had these people out the gate saying, I need a woman that's gonna pretty much be submissive, and you're mocking all the different type of black men, and of course you are. And where's the white man in your series, ma'am? So that you could tuck your forehead under his scrotum, huh? Where's the white man in your series, ma'am? Oh yeah, I forgot you're a divester. You don't insult black white men in writ large. You don't insult white men writ large. That's what you do to black men, coward, huh? So she did this whole series. She's just mocking all the different type of black men, from the swaggy brothers to the hotep brothers to the quote unquote nerdy brothers, the passport bros. She's just going in on all of them. You know, the other day I was listening to Obsidian, and Obsidian brought up, I can't remember what her name is, one of his female contributors, black woman contributors, and he said that she said, I know he say she say, but he said that she said, you'll be surprised how much black women are still holding on to Kevin Samuels, right? How much everything they're doing and saying is to still spite black men for Kevin Samuels. And he was bringing up the example of Michael B. Jordan, and all of us saw the who Michael B. Jordan should maybe date that's single right now, and it was only single moms, right? It was only single moms. Tia Mowry, Jodie Turner Smith, and Lala Anthony, right? And hearing Obsidian say that, and what he's saying is true about what the young lady said to him, you know, what black women are saying, and this is what Lexus Exodus is saying also. This is what we saw with Crystal and Karazin when she went up on Obsidian's panel, is we get to insult you. We get to belittle you. We get to mock you. We get to compare you to white men and non-black men and deem you lacking. We get to do all of that. You just don't get to respond. Because if you do respond, then you're sassy, and then you're B word, and then you're zesty, and you know, we get to mock you, and we get to elicit other non-black men, black elder men often, to mock you also. But you don't get to respond. You don't get to bring up facts. You don't get to, once again, y'all remember Mr. Z saying F your facts, right? You don't get to bring up history. You don't get to bring up facts. You don't get to put it in context. You don't actually get to be like, actually, that's a lie. This is the truth. That's a lie. You don't get to do any of that, dear black men. You just take this verbal lashing for not making black women upper middle class and rich white women. Your job and your role is to sit there, right? Huh. Ishmael said panel. No panel. This is a reckless streams. So just in case y'all want to know, by the way, reckless streams, right? So if you think about Lexus Exodus, you think about Chrissy, you think about Yanni, you see the way women are moving. Princella, especially after Kevin Samuels, right? From his rise to his untimely demise, everything is to get back at him and despite him, right? And to spite black men, particularly black men of the black manosphere, because what we won't be good little unopinionated wallets, like the young lady said, provide, protect, and shut up, like the young lady said on Daily Wrap Up Crew, because we won't do that, because we won't be that. Huh. So Lexus Exodus gets all in her racist white person bag with all the negative stereotypes about black men. In this speed dating scenario, once again, black men are not speed dating and black women are complaining about it, but don't let a little thing like facts get in the way of your narrative, Miss Lexus Exodus, right? Don't let a little thing like facts get in the way. I earn more than 100,000. I earn more than that. I earn more than him. Speaking about the whatever his name is, Abasolo, right? Brian Abasolo. Meanwhile, only like the top 10 or so percent of Americans earn more than $100,000 a year. But hey, once again, don't let a little thing like facts get in the way. Because everybody that doesn't earn over $100,000 a year, you're a dusty. Especially you men, even though women in the workforce actually get in the way of, oh, wait a minute, that's a fact. Yeah, this pesky thing called facts. Huh. And women like Lexus Exodus, black women like Lexus Exodus, and the reason why we're covering this today, the propaganda, right? The propaganda. Instead of you critiquing Brian Abasolo, y'all give me a second. And we're back. Instead of you critiquing Brian Abasolo and saying what you need to say about him as a white man who was married to a black woman, and what you see as his shortcomings, instead of you womaning up and saying it with your chest, you first have to bring black men in for some verbal insults. But of course you do. You got to bring in black men for, and verbal insults is not what I was trying to say, some verbal abuse, right? Of course, because you're a coward, but you're also a propagandist, and you're also a racist, right? And a misandrist, that part too. Huh. Even with your little animated series, you didn't show the most accurate part, that it would have been a crap ton of black women and a handful of black men. So you wouldn't have to worry about the swaggy dude being there. Most likely he wouldn't be. He's out there with your girl cousin or your younger sister. Oops. Or maybe your aunt. Ugh. Huh? And the Hotep brother, if he looks good enough, he's probably with your aunt too. Huh? The passport bro wouldn't be there because he's a passport bro. He would be overseas or at work saving, wait for it, to go overseas, right? So even your little scenario that you painted here, the problem is how inaccurate it is. Why would the swaggy brother be at a speed dating event? Wait, he's swaggy and desperate? What? So he got the dreads and he has the look, but he doesn't have black women to the point where he's going to a speed dating event? What? Huh. And the Hotep brother is speaking to you with that tone of voice? What? Right? Hmm. Then you have the brother with the blue highlighted hair saying he doesn't even know why his homie invited him to this. Black women are not even his type. He's a passport bro. He wouldn't be at a speed dating event, man. Hey, anything to defecate on black men, right? Anything to defecate on black men. Yeah, exactly. And Trail says the chubby brother had a house and a car, but she still dissed him. Yeah, because he got his degree from what ICDC. She trying to mock him, and he's reminiscing on the girl that he gave his heart to when he was what nine when he's in ninth grade or something like that. 9 years old or something. I think it might have been 9 years old. And she went off with the football team. Man, do you really want to have a who recites their quote unquote childhood rejection trauma more? Do you really want to play that game, Lexus Exodus? Do you really, Lexus? You want to play that game with black men compared to black women? Oh, it's ninth grade. Okay, thank you. Ninth grade, right? Imagine a black woman telling black men or mocking black men for recounting events from their childhood and it being so traumatizing. Oh, I don't date, and I've leveled up. What? Which one of the sexes came up with the term glow up? Ooh, huh? Which one of the sexes really has the, as Trell said, the high school reunion fantasy playing on in their mind so they could defecate on the cute chick that used to be the cute chick in high school and all the guys that overlooked her in high school? Which one of the sexes really has that playing on in their mind, the men or the women? I'ma show them. Huh? Exactly, Trell. Trell said class reunion flex, and that's all. All right. Huh. And this lady, her entire channel is just insulting black men after insulting black men. I didn't even watch the one where she goes in on Diddy because I know she's gonna have a field day with that. So once again, black men, you're just one big Negro. Talk about black women imitating white racists. While white men, if she does have something to say, she says something about individual white men or non-black men in their transgressions. But black men, she uses one black man as a proxy for black men. This type of black man, the nerd, he's still a loser. This type of black man, the swaggy brother that still lives at home with his parents, he's a loser. This type of black man, the hotep, he's a loser. This type of black man, he's a passport bro, he's a loser. right? Who needs white racists when you got Lexus Exodus? And of course, she was calling black men all type of nignogs and whatnot. Of course, right? And I Waffle says, with our powers combined, we're bigger long. Alexa, play the Captain Planet intro for me, please. Right? Oh man. So we covered this for the propaganda. Understand that Lexus Exodus is a grown ass woman, from my understanding, with a child. And she sounds like this. And if I'm not mistaken, I think she's married also to a non black man. Right? Huh. Alliances. Man, that video should be called projection times a 10. But it really, no, what's fascinating about both of those is the projection, right? If we got to engage in it, and Jake says drizzle, drizzle. Jake also says, and this is not our same Jake Zero, this is the other, this is another Jake. And Jake says, I'm on my soft guy era. She needs to be 6 feet and make six figures, drizzle, drizzle. Right? I mean, Miss Lexus Exodus, if we're going to do this, if this is where we are as a society, then let's go all the way. I keep on saying black men don't lose, excuse me, black men don't win a gender war. Black men do not win a gender war. Black men lose a gender war. A gender war against black women, black men lose it. Black women just lose it harder. Oh, so salty. What is SGE? SGEing? What's the difference between SGEing and SBEing? Because I'm definitely SBEing, right? Huh. Good point. Yeah, he did say that. And Redfall says black women make no distinctions when it comes to black men. We're all dusty. Yeah, yeah, right. Huh. And Salty says I'm clowning the SBE police. Man, I owned it. I owned it from the jump. I was like, oh, this is the insult. Shame, blame, and explain. So we not shaming black women, explaining or blaming. Get the hell out of here. Look, I have black sisters, a black mom, black girl cousins. I have a black girlfriend. You better believe Mr. Z engages in SBE. Heavy on the shame. It's the one thing that right there, the shame, boy. You want to drive a black woman, you want to drive a black woman crazy. Catch her red-handed in something and put the shame works on her. Will she be ready to jump off a bridge? Right. So we watching Lexus Exit, and shout out to Louis for this again, because like I've mentioned her on and off, obviously on the channel a lot, right? But I kind of let her breathe. I haven't really been on her page that often lately, and Louis sent me this, and I was like, oh yeah, this is good, right? Because this is what she chooses to do with her time. Negative stereotypes that are not even in context, because once again, black men aren't going to speed dates. We're not speed dating. That's like a complaint of black women, right? That's one of the complaints. Look, Miss Lexus Exodus, Not all black women want to worship at the altar of the almighty white peen, right? They don't want to be boinked boinked on the forehead by a white peen, unlike you, right? Not every black woman would want to go on speed dates with everybody but a black man. Other women, Latino men, white men, Asian men. I know those women are what you gonna call them, dustishas? Huh? Pick me's? Huh? You know, the other day I was listening to Sarge Willie Pete's video think piece on why he no longer engages in the gender war. And I'll give you 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back because y'all know reckless streams. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. But yeah, so Redfall says, no, not Destisha. Look, I guess if you're a black woman and you're with a black man and he doesn't earn over $100,000 a year, aren't you with a Destisha? Aren't you a Destisha as a black woman? Right? Think about it. If if you have made your God white men and white women in which you think they're living, right? If you have made your God white men, right? And whatever lifestyle you feel that the masses of white men provide for white women, which is actually factually inaccurate, if you have made that your God, then the black women that end up with black men, what are they? If black men are dusties, then what are the black women that prefer black men or that only want a black man? They got to be a dustisha because the black man is a dusty, right? For these women to use terms like pick me as a pejorative to black women that prefer to be with a black man, just think about like the insanity of that. You who said anyone but a black man, you who for the most part when you say that you really mean white men, but yet the pejorative is that black women who prefer a black man are pygmies, and black women who do things to appeal to the black male gaze are pygmies, right? And not only pick me's, you go so far as to say mammies. Well, right? And it doesn't even sound right because when like Lexus X's doesn't necessarily sound like she grew up around like black people like that. But when she say child, it's just so it don't sound like a black woman who grew up around black like it, whether she's a I don't know if she's a child of immigrants or something's not something don't fit. Either she grew up in the burbs or she was one of those black children that maybe she grew up around the way, but like her parents had her really shut in because like something's not because like if you're a black woman and you grew up in the burbs around a bunch of white folks and you went to grandma's house like once a month, maybe once every other month in the hood, and you had to see your cousins there, then of course you have anti-black racist views on black men. You are a white suburban girl chocolate dipped, right? You are a white suburban woman chocolate dipped. A racist one at that, of course, Lexus Exodus. Listen to the way you critique black people writ large, but black men specifically, of course, right? And especially if you have a similar story to Candace Owens or what's her name, Aoki Simmons. Y'all grew up around the white folks. Y'all was around the white folks. White men were making fun of you, but you don't have no smoke for them. The white boys were ignoring you, but you have no smoke for them. But the second you have a situation that goes awry with a black man, then it's F black men forever. Y'all are cowards. Y'all are straight up cowards. And yes, ma'am, I get to call you a coward. If you're gonna mock black men, if you're gonna mock men in general, but black men specifically, because we know it's about black men, and insult black men, then yes, I get to say that. Yes, I get to call you a coward. We don't often call women cowards. That's not an attribute we assign to women, but you're a coward, right? Give me 1 second because I see I'm Waffles put something down here. When I click that before it gets too far, and I can't. Want to keep it in my history. Give me a second. Oh, I got it. Mm. And thank you, I'm Waffles. And that's a perfect one. All my black female friends are single. We want black love. By the way, I'm probably gonna add that to something that I saw from Relationships Restored, which is the black man and black woman that interviewed Amanda Seals a couple months ago. I want to because they interviewed a woman that's speaking about singleness expert, right? And she looks like a PhD, so it looks like she's a PhD. And yeah, singleness expert talks the policing of black women and embracing singlehood, black marriage, plus more. Yeah, I'm dead. So I'm gonna probably couple those two things together, and we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, because I think yeah, it would Mouse Utopia project in full effect, y'all, or Mouse Utopia experiment in full effect. This is what it is, right? And that loneliness is going to be kicking them in that. You imagine being single and lonely. Let's be very clear. I'm not saying just because you're single, you're lonely. I'm saying imagine being single and lonely and then having to put on a fake smile and then you're a woman on top of that. Oh, the torture, the horror, the torture, right? And it's not even black men that are demanding that you be quote unquote stoic and toe the line. No, it's other black women. We can't let black men see that it's hurting us. We can't let them know that we tried to go over there to Brad and it didn't work. We can't let them know that they're our best choice. We can't. Right? Oh, sorry, Jake Zero. Jake, I'm over here saying I'm Waffles. Sorry, I'm Waffles and Jake. I got y'all mixed up. And Jake is the one that sent me that. My apologies, Jake. And I'm definitely gonna So I already have it in my history, and I see the title, and I'm probably going to couple it with what I was saying earlier. Relationships restored. So on one hand, you have you. It's crazy because at least for me as a millennial, black girls weren't pushed to be in relationship necessarily. Not from what I can see on the outside, at least. And so for this doctor or this PhD at least to try to what de-shame, that's not a real word, to de-shame being single. I mean, like, I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, I'm used to black women being single. Once we get to like Xers and younger, like especially like 50-year-olds and younger, maybe 52-year-olds and younger, yeah, single all over the place. Right? And salty balls, salty with the salty says, a married niggas dustus. Was that the that's us before we evolved to the upright erect pause erect dusties. So before we were dusties, we were dust us. We had to evolve to dusties, or better yet, devolve if you let them talk. Right? So we were crawling on the floor and eating berries that the female version of us, of course, picked off a tree for us because we were dust us. So we were dusties, but we were dust us. But the one thing that links us is that we were always relying on a woman, of course. Thank you. Exactly. Hitflix, see what I'm trying to say. Hitflix is dust us, erect us. Exactly. That's funny, Salty. That's funny because right? Oh man. Salty says, no, we're just walking phallus erectus. Hysterical. Right? Man. Well, let me read this now. And Salty says, we need to start getting at them white worshiping tethers. Y'all seen that painting on social media where they got a painting where it's six black men that have six tied in a knot and the sister spreading it. Bruh. Wow. Wow. I mean, look, I am a child of immigrants, and I couldn't imagine, especially as an adult, making child's play of Black history, Black American history, just like, the bigger long, like inserting bigger long into the Harriet story or um, over romanticizing white men as the savior of Black people, namely Black women, right? I just couldn't imagine that. So, but then again, my gripes with Black women aren't that great that I have reimagined white women's position in this society, right? My gripes with Black women aren't so great that I have romanticized being with a white woman because that's going to save me from Black women, and that's a good way to thumb Black women in the eye, right? But that's what it is for a lot of Black women, a lot, including obviously children of Black immigrants, and Black immigrant women themselves, right? Black women immigrants and their daughters, because they're they're either born here or they came here at a young age and they got called African booty scratcher one too many times, and it's like F black men forever, right? Man, and I just couldn't imagine what was I made fun of as a kid by ADOS people or ADOS kids. Yeah, but it was like it was towards the end of that um making fun of Haitians in South Florida era. Like I got the tail end of it. Plus, I was down here in like Miami because my cousins that were in Orlando, they had to deal with it a little bit more, right? And even when they moved back down to Miami, they had to deal with it a little bit more because they were still dealing with it. A couple, they were a little bit older than me, so they still were dealing with the some of the ravages of that. But I didn't get hit with it that hard. So maybe that's why I don't have this like, oh, I'm gonna get ADOS people back, and I'm really gonna go at the ADOS women. Nah, right? I'm with an ADOS woman right now, actually, right? So yeah, it look, and that's why I'm wondering about Lexus Exodus's background, right? Because you get these kind of weirdo black people, even if they're ADOS, these kind of weirdo black people that have kind of different upbringings or like had a different type of situation growing up, right? Whether they're children of immigrants, whether they're immigrants themselves, whether they grew up in the burbs, where they grew up, or whether they grew up in like 95% white environments, right? Or they went, their parents said, you know what, I'm not going to send you to the hood school. I'm going to send you to the quote unquote safe school, right? We're going to use your granddad's address or your grandma's address, and we're going to send you to the quote unquote safe school. Meanwhile, the safe school is ripping your kids apart psychologically. Your daughter is contemplating deleting herself every goddamn day, right? Because as the Asian woman sit on that man on the street interview that's on Compassionate's channel, I was in the cute white girl in high school. This lady looked like she could be all of like late 20s, maybe early 30s, maybe early 30s, but I think she's probably in her late 20s. And she's still talking about not being the cute chick in high school. And this is an Asian woman, so you know black women on the same thing. Worse, right? And it's crazy to see adults, yo, still harping on who didn't find them attractive 15 and 20 years ago, 25 years ago, goddamn 30 years ago. Who ignored them, who made fun of their hair 30 years ago. Because let me tell you, for the most part, these people are not being made fun of by no goddamn grown ass men at 22 and 25 and 30 years old. That's not a thing. So what you really have are 35, 40, 45, and 50-year olds, women, black women, still harkening back to what someone said to them that was off color, pun intended, when they were 15 and 14 and 16 years old. Huh? Who didn't find them attractive when they were 14 and 15 and 16 years old, when they were 17 years old. Some weirdo stuff, right? So, you know, I covered this today because I think it was important, right? And wait, before I even finish my statement, and Ishmael says, like, like, go get some counseling already. If your ego is that sensitive, no, it really is, and that's why I really want to cover this thing with like speaking about Candace Owens and the Williams sisters and Aoki and like just a smorgasbord. Oprah, right? Oprah even told y'all, um, on that 2020 interview of her way back when in the early 90s, I want to say somewhere mid 90s, early 90s, that she wished she was a white girl when she was younger. Like all of these black women in particular. See, it's fascinating listening to black women say, "Oh, black men end up with these white women because that's the white man trophy," and they feel such a sense of inferiority that they can't compete against the white man, so they go get his trophy, right? And successful black men and white women, actually, Latinas more likely to pull black men than white women are right now, but okay, whatever. Um, and you hear black women go on and on and on about successful black men with these white women, and yet when you let those same black women talk long enough, not only are they comparing black men to like the top 20% of white men, once again, the masses of black men to the top 20% of white men, not only are those black women engaging in that, they feel a real sense of resentment towards society writ large, black men specifically, for not putting them in the same position that upper middle class and rich and elite white women are. They're angry they're not the European beauty standard equivalent, right? They're angry that the white girl get all the attention. They're angry that she's with the jock. They're angry about all of that. And who do they take that off on? Of course, black men. But of course, who else would they take it off on? Right? Man. And Mr. Donnie Mac says, what's going on, Mr. Donnie Mac? Mr. Donnie Mac says, just saw the two animated videos. Wow. I'm telling you, right? All of the negative stereotypes, all of them. And she thinks she's saying something. But here's the part, Mr. Donnie Mac, you might have missed this. I was saying earlier, but aren't black women complaining that black men are not going on speed dates? Black men are not actually engaging in speed dating, right? So how are all these black men at this speed dating event when black women are complaining that black men aren't actually doing these speed dating events? Huh? That's the problem. Like none of this make any sense. But it doesn't have to because it's about Lexus Exodus feelings and the propaganda and insulting black men. And you better believe it's about insulting black men. Oh yes, of course. Right? And Dut reacts says, I saw some gay black dude on Twitter posting that animated video. Such a damn shame. Bro, you already know where a lot of those brothers stand. Or sit, better yet. but you know where they are. Right? So gay black men pretty much and you always see this with gay black men. That's the fascinating part. Gay black men like rarely, if ever, tell black women, actually, you're kind of wrong about that. Actually, like it's only a few times I've ever seen gay black men tell black women, actually, no, y'all are full of crap. Right? Man, Ishmael says, where do they hold speed dating events? Like that's a thing in 2024. Bro, like remember a couple years ago we were speaking about it when they showed the video of all those sisters. What was playing in the background? Was it Tyrese? Was it lately? I can't remember what song was um was playing in the background. I want to say it was lately playing in the background, and they're outside and they're waiting for more people to show up, mainly more men because they're like no men at this speed dating event. And apparently the people that hosted the speed dating event, they put out some type of info saying, yeah, no, the men showed up later and it was jumping and it was packed and da 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 da. And a lot of the women that were there were like, yeah, no, they didn't. Right? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And thank you, Mr. Donnie Mac remembers. Yeah, that was Dallas. Exactly. And Lion says because those same gay black men are mad at the one straight dude who bullied them. That never gets mentioned. It's that, and it's also about the brother that they found attractive. That was like, what? Let's be honest. It's also about the brother that they found attractive that they know would never. And no, this is not about saying, oh, just because you're gay, you find all dudes attractive because you're gay. No, Mr. C is not engaging in that. Right? Huh. But yeah, no, we got to call a thing a thing. Look, man, um, Lexus Exodus and her ilk, and if you look, that video has what, like those part series, they're doing a couple of numbers. They're doing what, 30,000, something like that, right? Because part two has what? Part two has, give me a second, y'all, 21,000, and she just posted it 20 hours ago, right? 21,000, right? Part one has 37,000, and she posted that about 3 months ago. 3 weeks ago, excuse me, 3 weeks ago. Black women dating in 2024, right? Huh. And it's inaccurate. The negative stereotypes make no sense because why would the swaggy brother be at a speed dating event? She had the swaggy brother with the dreads at a speed dating event. Why would he be there? The Hotep brother getting vagina thrown at him all the time, especially if he's doing the whole sister thing. If he's doing the whole Dr. Umar Johnson thing, he's getting vagina thrown at him all the time. He would not be at no goddamn speed dating event. There's a couple of these quote unquote negative stereotypes that she's using that don't make any sense. Why would a passport bro be at a speed dating event? Especially if he's not into black women, why would he be at a speed dating event with black women? Y'all just wanted the negative for all of the women that are clapping up and thumbing it up. Like I said, part two has 21,000 views. Y'all just wanted the negative stereotype about black men because that doesn't make any sense. The brother got blue highlights in his hair. And he's claiming to be a passport bro, but yet he has a speed dating event. He's at a speed dating event full of black women. What? Talking about he don't even know why he's there. He don't even date black women. To a black woman at the table at a speed dating event that he wouldn't even be there to say that to her in the first place. How's this supposed to work? What? Then you're too cowardly to just go at Brian Abacello, right? You're too cowardly to just go at him and say what you needed to say, right? Because he's a white man. So you spent a good three-fourths, maybe two-thirds, going in on black men just so you could finally say, and by the way, we saw Chrissy engage in this also. So whenever it's time to say anything about the anti-blackness in the society or the fact that black women ain't really winning like that when it comes to this swirler divester thing these people keep on talking about, or how it might be a little bit more difficult than they thought, they spend a good chunk insulting black men, whether it's before or after or both, right? The sandwich method. Then they actually talk about what they were there to talk about. Okay, listen here, ladies, we're not going to worship at the altar of white men, even though we kind of actually are. And then they go back to insulting black men again and they finish it up. Boy, I guess you can't talk about God like that, huh? right? And Salty says it's covert narcissism in an era of revenge of the nerds, weirdos, and fat people. They actually are still hurt over wanting to be or replacing who they see is a top of the food chain, is on top of the food chain. Yes. Yeah. Right. And they really want to recreate, they really want, and shout out to Trell Bentley, Trell, like what Trell said, right? Which is class reunion flex. They really want a class reunion flex. Imagine how deep your inferiority complex has to be. Which is funny because it's like an inferiority complex mixed with a superiority complex, right? It's a mess. That's what it really is. It's a mess. And so you want to make up for this by finally defecating on, especially if she a chocolate sister, definitely if she a darker skinned black woman. So you want to engage in this all so you can defecate on the cute light skinned chick that was overly developed for her age at 17 years old, that all the guys were chasing after in high school, especially if you went to a black high school. You want to defecate on her because you were the kind of cute, but maybe not recognized, slim, dark skinned girl that like nobody was paying attention to in high school. Or maybe you were built like a box. Let's be honest. Cube, I mean, Bowser is one of those people, right? And Saint Cyr says, don't even give them kind of cute. These Cheerios were hit in hating. You know what it is? It's who can I say with the Othello movie from what year was that? The late 90s? The early 2000s? But no, but Othello, it was his white homeboy in the actual real story by Shakespeare. That was a friend that brought him down and that was jealous of him. No. What story do we have of like a secret hater bringing you down? Oh, what's his name off of Belly? Well, I don't like that. Why he eating a banana? They really made fun of the South and the Midwest with that. But yeah, yeah, like a secret hater plotting in the background, right? Huh. And that's what a lot of these sisters are. They're in the background watching everybody live their life in high school, and they're just seething, mad. And then they become adults, and everything about their life is to get back at the cute chick from high school. So and let's be honest, sometimes they do get far. Sometimes they do get far in life, just so they could go back to the high school reunion and be like, look at who I am. Yawn. Y'all gotta get over it. Y'all gotta get over it, man. Look at what I've done. Look at what I've accomplished. And you've fallen off. These evil cartoon characters y'all think y'all are. Grow up. One of the biggest misconceptions in our society is that we have a whole bunch of mature, educated, kick-ass women. No, these women got degrees and middle management positions, and yet they're still the resentful little spiteful 14-year-old they were when they were 14. She a whole 42 right now, but inside she's still a 15-year-old. And the second you press the wrong button, you see it. Right? Man, you see what I'm saying, Vince? And Vince is immature, mad, and real mean. Right? Man, good point. And Jake says the success and the hatred doesn't sustain them at all. Right? And Ishmael says the Simmons daughter clearly stated that she envied white women growing up because of the privileges they had, the want to divorce themselves from blackness and refuse to accept that they can't. You know what's funny about that, Ishmael? Remember who we're speaking about too, right? She never wanted for anything. She definitely never needed for anything. You are the daughter of Russell Simmons and Kamora Lee Simmons, a model and a hip hop mogul. You needed for nothing. And now you're a whole what Harvard graduate. Don't forget she went to Harvard. So what she's doing and how she's moving is real calculated, right? So when she speaks about white privilege, I'm not going to say I doubt her necessarily. Once again, what does Mr. Z say? Black people are inappropriately responding to a toxic environment. I don't deny that the environment's toxic. I'm saying what y'all trying to do to relieve yourselves is all type of messed up, and for the most part, it ain't gonna work, right? Man. Oh, when he cut them off, Jake says she told her father she would do this live on camera. I will be a sugar baby. Well, go ahead then, right? Go ahead then. That's gonna be a seriously unfulfilling life. Shout out to all the women of color, black women specifically, who really think these white men don't see who you are, and you think you're gonna be able to play them for a kid and that little child support better than they're gonna be able to play you. All right, be that toilet tissue if you want to, right? To think that Pac told Madonna no, to think that Zoe Williams told Madonna no, and Aoki, because of a spat with her dad, said I'll be a sugar baby. Okay, right? Wow. Man. Faber says, this is, I don't know why this tickles me. This is funny. And Faber says, all those years wasted raising her just for her to be a disappointment public at that. She's a whole Harvard grad, Faber. Somewhere in the world is somebody listening to Mr. Z's channel right now and being like, these men sound crazy. She's a whole Harvard grad. Yeah, but what does that Harvard degree really mean when you got the old crickety crotchety old wrinkle balls white man laying on top of you? Literally. Ugh. Ugh. Talk about throw up. Barf bag. You're a whole model following behind your mother. Your mom went what? 20 years up? Not even. She was 17 and Russell was in his 30s? You went 40 years up. God damn. Right? You got the old, you at least Russell was still relatively fit. You got the old white man Aoki. God damn. Well, I guess if you could hold your breath, I can't look. Hey, I can't do it with no old rinkety rockety white woman. I can't do it. That skin starts sagging. Lip. You know they don't age well, right? Jeez. I guess. And let's be honest, is he gonna stay with you for too long? What, you hoping to marry him and get a kid out the deal? Ah. So you pushing out a football out of a hole the size of a quarter for that? Okay. Alrighty then. That's a don't ever underestimate how far women are willing to go out of spite, or anyone for that matter. Don't ever underestimate how far people are willing to go to spite you. They would destroy themselves trying to destroy you or trying to ruin your reputation, right? So many of them do actually. And Earth says all these hip hop kids turn out wrong. I ain't gonna say all, right? I ain't gonna be absolute about it, but yeah, no, you're right. Many, 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 right? And I think there is Aoki might have a point about the white privilege thing, especially as a growing up with the money and the access, but still not getting all of the privilege that that would entail because you're not white. So you would think you would sound like her name slipped my mind, but I think she was a white dude too, actually. Um Homegirl from Hunger Games. The what's her, she's like, she got a Jewish last name. I think her father's Jewish. She's mixed. I forgot her name. Um I think she played Rue. She played Rue in Hunger Games, if I'm not mistaken. Um but yeah, but you would think you would sound like her, like even she says certain, well, she used to, right? But yeah, is that her name? Only logical, Amandala. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Hitflix. Amandala Steinberg. Thank you. I think that's her name. I think that's her name. Right. You would think, or Amanda. Is it Amanda or is it Amandala? Yeah. Okay. So you would think Aoki, especially going through what she went through in high school and then attending Harvard. If you attended Harvard and you think about what we're saying. Wait. Aoki attended Harvard and she don't got her a young Harvard dude. The silence is on purpose, y'all. Aoki attended Harvard, y'all, and she does not have her a young Mark Zuckerberg white dude. Or the what's the name of the brothers that went to the school with him at the same time that he stole the goddamn idea from? The Winkle, whatever the hell's, whatever their names are, right? So you are at one of the most premier institutions, not just in America, but on the planet, as Russell Simmons' daughter. And if you was gonna go after the bag, why aren't you with one of those white dudes? Fine, you and your dad had this falling out after you graduated. You couldn't make no phone calls and go meet up with one of them, I wanted to say brothers, one of those white dudes, huh? Man, I told y'all about these spoiled brat ass women. Okay, there go Winklevoss is Voss. Yeah, thank you. Because I knew it was something like that. Thank you. Hitflix. Ishmael, I ain't even gonna read that one out loud, and we know which one it's gonna be. We know which one it's gonna be too. I don't even want to say what I want to say. Hey, let's just say one is cute, it got some thickness to them, and then one of them look like him. That's all I gotta say. I'm gonna pause right there before Mr. Z get a visit. Right, man. Hey, and this is the world where Lexus Exodus thinks she can mock black men. Okay, that's it. Right. Okay. All right then. Right. But y'all, so I think so. Ismail says Sasha will end up with a brother though. I think so. I think so. You never know. Maybe a white dude, but I think so. I saw it. I saw it. And I'm Waffle says Z. Tone Talks had a pretty dope stream about Aoki Simmons yesterday while you were live. Some of the sisters in the chat were low key caping for her too. They can't help it, man, because they see the money. They see old white man and they know he got money, right? They can't help it. They can't help it. They can't. I don't look. I don't know how much I trust. You know, women with a lot of this. When money and quote unquote stability and opulence and all of that, when you present them, when you present people with that in general, it's hard to ask them to have any type of moral compass, let alone women, let alone women. I think men too, but women even more, right? Yeah, I heard about that, right? And Ishmael says, any thoughts about Tiamari trying to pull off a reach back? Shout out to AC. Let's see. I don't want to call it yet, but let's see. Look, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. My pride ain't built like that. Fine, I'll say it. My ego ain't built like that. I can't do it. You talking about you graduated from marriage and all this other stuff? You divorced me? Nope. 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 Absolutely not. Don't worry, y'all gonna hear about Kim Kardashian soon enough if you haven't already, and maybe I'm just late. Don't worry. Where y'all think y'all going? Look, shout out to all the rich women out there, especially the rich women over the age of like 40 and 45 years old. I don't know where the hell y'all think y'all be going. I don't know where y'all think y'all going. I am a working class black man, and I can see it from down here. Where she think she going? I don't know where y'all think y'all going. Y'all think y'all have access to these ballerific men that you're around, but they'll smash. But are they going to leave their wife for you, right? Or are they going to leave the 4 and 5 and 6 women they have in rotations for you, or the 2 women they have, the one main quote unquote chick and the little jump off that do whatever, but you giving her a few $1,000s and you flowing her for her life. What do these women think they go? I'm over here on the ground and I'm looking at y'all up there in the sky somewhere, and I'm like, where she think she going? Where you think you going? That's, and if money wasn't a factor, that would be a different conversation. If you were willing to buy a chiseled chin Chad or a chiseled chin Tyrone, Mr. Mandingo who would blow your back out and he got the 6 pack and he's 6'3", that's it. Now we could have a conversation. And I can't say where she thinks she's going. She's buying the peen. Okay, if you buy the peen and you don't have no problem with it, fine. But if you looking, wait, you looking for money first, let's be honest. You looking for the money first. Enough looks, enough charisma, and somebody that you can tolerate, hopefully, for long enough that when y'all get divorced, you could get some alimony out of it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't know where y'all think y'all going. Only logical says Keisha Cole is still robbing the cradle. Man, we spoke about that, and shout out to Sarge Willie Pete, who's coming around, right? He thought it was about merit and black men not meriting themselves, and he's finally where many of us were already, which is no, it's not that. Black women want you to provide, protect, and shut up. And I wasn't able to articulate it like that years ago, but I always knew it was that. So being an avid listener of the different channels, Black Manosphere and Black Manosphere adjacent content creators, it was maddening to hear Sarge speak sometimes because I'm like, bruh, you don't get it. That's because you're from the burbs. You don't get it. And even the women around you, the black women around you from the burbs, right? It's about power for them. They want you to provide and shut up. Really, they want you to subsidize their leadership. Wrong word, Z. They want you to subsidize their rulership over you. Man. But yeah, y'all. Okay, on that note, we will pause right here. Truly, love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great, great, great rest of y'all day. Right? Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Yeah. Right? So, yeah, y'all. Lexus Exodus, this was horrible. From your coverage of, and even though it was months ago, from your coverage of Rachel Lindsay and her divorce, and you being too cowardly to just straight up come up the middle and say, "Hey, these white dudes are out here, and they could be using you also, and they could be not ambitious enough, whatever the hell that means, right?" Instead of you just coming up the middle, you had to take, digs at black men, but of course you did. Um, that's number one. Number two, the Black women dating in 2024, part one and part two. Once again, I don't know why you got the Hotep brother there. He's not there. I don't know why you got the Swaggy brother there. He's not there. I don't know why you have the Passport bro there. He's not there. This whole scenario you painted is really far fetched. You really reaching with this one. Dear Lexus Exodus, you are reaching with this one. Because black men are not engaging in that's black women's complaint. Which, by the way, we find funny over here in the Black manosphere because you insult black men, you belittle black men, you mock black men, then you turn around, you try to go out there, you try to date Brad that you work with, it don't work out. Let's be honest, it don't work out. Enrique just want to smash in the car during lunch break, right? Lee is not interested. Ahmed is not interested. Ahmed is okay with with you being his sneaky link, right? Same thing with Adelstein on the low, right? So you come back to black men hoping that we don't know, and you're doing the speed dating thing, and there's not that many black men there. Whoopsie, right? Thank you. And Jake says black women will have to tell her chill, otherwise it would only get worse. I've been saying it, dear black women, until I'm not gonna say their names, until black female content creators that put out this type of content fear you in your reprisal, maybe physically, then they'll stop, and then maybe you'll have a better chance. Until black men see that other black women are maybe willing to crack some of their knuckles, we'll say, right? Until black men see that, then y'all gonna keep on fighting over that handful of white guys that's interested, engaging in same-sex loving relationships, or being perpetually single. Right? Have fun being 47, getting piped down by the 27-year-old. Right? Demetrius said unhealthy levels of reaching. Boy, she reaching. Man, she reaching. The passport brother is there saying, "Oh, I don't even know why I'm here." He wouldn't even say that's not how black men talk, but nice try. And the part one got damn near 40,000 views. All right, I see y'all black women. I see y'all. Nice try. Yawn. Right? And on that note, y'all, we'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great, great rest of y'all day. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content for the love of God. Yeah, and Mr. Z out, y'all. All right. Yeah. Lexus Exodus, nice try. Yawn fest. Complete yawn fest. Horrible stereotypes, and you're too cowardly to really go out the white men without mentioning black men. And there you go. Horrible propaganda. Nice try. Cheap. Anyway, Mr. Z out.